We're here with John Stewart in his 1954 Chevrolet police car, which caught my eye right off the bat when I'm coming in. So have you been having fun at the show today?
Yeah, it's been a blast. I've been here about 10 minutes, and all 10 of them have been really good.
John Stewart's going to go ahead and tell us about this police car. Now, did it start life as a police car?
No.
It didn't. Few of them do.
Yeah, right. I bought this from a guy in Fort Worth. He had he worked at an interior shop.
Okay.
Anyway, I saw it online. It was a lowrider.
Wow.
It was a cool setup he had on it, you know, but it was dropped down nice. He did a nice job on the interior. Gave me a, fairly good deal on the car, and I saw a police car. I was like, sheriff's car, old-time police car is what I want to turn it into. So, nope, nothing cosmetically on the exterior. This is the original, not the original, a really bad, rough repaint. Nice runs in it, scratches, and nicks, and all that kind of stuff.
We call this a driver.
This is a driver.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
drive all the time with my family.
Now, let me ask you, did they make a 54 police car?
They had to.
They had
no
to.
police in 54?
Well,
they had to make them, man.
Well, I didn't know if it was a Mopar or,
different states, counties, departments.
Right.
They all have different cars.
What about source?
This would hold a lot of people, so you can get a lot of criminals in there at one time if you need to, or a bunch of cars, whatever.
Awesome. Would you be willing to pop the hood for us?
Yeah.
This police car is awesome.
It's a trip.
You don't want those criminals messing with your engine.
No.
Okay, so we've got a straight 6 in line. What is she making? About 110?
Not really. I'll take 110.
Okay, he'll take 110 horsepower.
It's the original 235.
Wow.
Rebuilt by Blaine's Motors.
It seems like it would be hard to catch the moonshiners in this car, but I'm not throwing any shade. I love the engine bay. This is gorgeous. Now, did you have the whole car restored?
Just mechanically.
Just mechanically?
From the ground, all the suspension,
because
the engine, the transmission.
You wanted a driver,
electrical.
But you weren't going over the top of perfection.
No, absolutely not. So, added some cool lights to it and everything. I'll show you that in a second. Turn those on.
Let's do that. Now, we have a lot of viewers out there who maybe want to change their classic car into a police car. Would you give us a rough estimate? Was it north or south of 40,000?
South.
South of 40,000. Okay, so there you go. Let's go check out this interior, and then he said he's going to flip on the lights.
And it is on sale for $39,999.
Okay, you heard it here. The car is on sale for $39,999. 1954 Chevrolet. And I'll get your info after the interview, and I'll link it in the description below. Okay, the car is no longer for sale because I
thought about it for a long time.
I'm buying it now. He's going to go ahead and sell it to me, so it's not for sale. Let's go check out that interior.
All right.
Okay, so normally when I'm in the back of the police car, they're taking me to county for my unpaid speeding tickets. But this is a really, really cool black seat. He's got, this is vinyl, right?
Yeah.
He's got white and black vinyl carried over throughout the whole car. We got a really cool split bench. Did the interior come this way?
Yeah, the guy that I purchased the car from,
This is part of the lowrider interior.
Yeah, it was. Everything. I didn't really do anything, just go through the whole gauges, all the gauges, the dash, clean up, paint. And
wow.
None of the gauges work. There's a single gauge down there for everything. That takes care of it.
Really cool, and it looks like you got a great deal. You didn't have to drop a bunch of money on the interior. You got to spend money on things that you wanted. Wow, listen to that. Straight and narrow.
It's like no cream puff by far.
She's never been wrecked.
I just must have been. Looks like my friend painted.
We've got John Stewart here with his 1954 Chevrolet police car. And tell us, are you into law enforcement, or you just always wanted a police car?
No, I saw this car, I fell in love with it. And, yeah, I love law enforcement, absolutely. And this is what I wanted. This is what my vision for the car.
Well, it came out great.
Okay.
Thanks again for your time, John. I really appreciate it. It's car enthusiasts like this that are keeping these old cars alive, and I personally love it. Thank you so much. Rock Bottom County. What's all that about? So we've been walking around the show for a little bit, and this thing caught my eye, not only because it's yellow, but because it is a awesome looking 62 Chevrolet. So Joe, tell us, what was your inspiration for this car?
Originally, it was going to be to transport my wife and family to Colorado to a condominium. Each kid would have its own seat. We wouldn't have any problems.
Okay, now let's count the rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 5 backward facing bench. So
all 9 passenger station wagons.
So we've got 5 rows. So you think your Escalade's big, you think your Tahoe's big. Look at this baby. How many feet is she?
26 feet.
26 feet. Wow. That's bigger than some boats.
That is.
That is, yeah, that's a 26 footer. Okay. Now, she didn't start life as a taxi, did she?
No.
No. She started life as a
regular 62 Chevy Bel Air station wagon.
4-door post or 2-door?
Well, it was 4-door. It had 4 doors, and it was just 9 passenger station wagon.
9 passenger station wagon. Okay. So what you want to remember is that early on, before the Caprice Classic and the Ford LTD took over all cabs, it seems, for the most part, and really before Checker, although this was a little bit before Checker, this would have been kind of in competition with Checker. If you know what year they stopped making the Checker, leave it in the comments below. But what I want him to tell us about is, what did you Frankenstein together to get the car this big? Let's walk down here and see what he put together. Because originally, what you got to remember is the car would have ended right about here with the back end, wouldn't you say?
It was cut here and cut here.
Is this 3 cars?
I've got 5 cars in the restoration.
Okay, y'all didn't hear that. Come on in, come on in. There is 5 cars that was used in this restoration. So you said they cut here, and here, and here.
So these two seats were made in they engineered the bottom of the car frame to accommodate that distance here, 6 to 8 feet.
Wow. Where did you find those 5 donor cars?
They're around. I had a parts car. From the day I bought this was in such bad shape. I had a parts car originally. So I had that one. And then I needed, it was a 6-door limousine when I got it. And I had to make it, when I restored it, I made it an 8-door. I had to go find another car in the junkyard and get a post. And put that post in, and then made those 2 doors on the other side to get the 8 doors. And Fort Smith, Arkansas,
Did the coach work?
They cut it in half and they extended it out.
Wow.
Back in those years, you could take any car imaginable that you wanted, and they could take it there and they would extend it for you.
Gotcha. very similar to what you see with the late 60 Cadillacs that were converted over to ambulances.
Right.
At the time, there were not specialty manufacturers in America, so you had to take your OEM car, if you're a company or a fleet, and you shipped it off to a special coach builder who would make you what you needed for the job.
They made hundreds of these, because I've got a picture here in the back I'll show you where the Hershey School in Hershey, Pennsylvania,
Wow.
probably had 15 or 20 of these sitting around campus. They were school buses.
I just drove through Hershey, Pennsylvania last week in Carlisle.
Yeah. Well, I've got pictures I can show you of what they did back in those early days. They did, almost all of them were 62 Chevys, except every now and then you would see a 63 Pontiac.
Really?
They did the same thing with Pontiac. Now, the article that I have says that the seniors got to ride in the Pontiacs. Everybody else had to ride in the Chevys.
So then really, this would have gone more maybe to like a school or a church as opposed to your around-the-town taxi? Or did it serve both purposes?
When I first went into the service, I had a family, and I was in New Jersey, and they had one of these at the airport to take us around the airport and get us to the airplane.
Makes a lot of sense.
And people say they remember these here in Dallas as airport limos.
Right. As the six-door.
Now, I had this car up in South Dakota for a car show, and the people there said, oh, I remember these things because there wasn't enough people for big buses for inter-city travel.
Right.
So they had these just for regular public transportation among the cities up there.
Right, because Mack and some of the other truck companies hadn't got into bus making yet, and there was a big need for the market. Now let me ask you, did you choose this white top with the yellow? Is this original yellow color combination?
The car was originally silver.
Originally silver.
Originally silver.
There were a lot of silver taxis back then. What color do they call this?
This is a 2004 Corvette Millennium yellow.
Wow. Let's go take a look at the engine.
Paint the whole thing yellow. They said that the engine would look like a banana. all for periods of time, it was always going to be yellow for me. But then one of my friends came up and he said, Joe, if you will paint the top white and the wheels white and give it a little bit of contrast, I'm all in favor of it.
It all flows. And you know what it does? It screams taxi.
It does.
You know, it's awesome.
And he even gave me a sign that says taxi.
All right, so I'm looking at this engine. Do we have a 350 small block in here, or what do we got?
350 small block.
Now, I'm noticing you painted your engine block too,
right?
Which I love. You carried that over. Now, let me ask you, is this engine suffice to get this big girl going?
It is.
It is?
Plenty of power.
You don't have any trouble getting on the highway or anything?
No.
Nobody racing you at any stoplights?
No.
All right. I like it a lot.
It's called Dorothy.
Dorothy.
D-O-O-R-T-H. Dorothy.
Gotcha.
And when I first bought it, this came out of Freeport, Maine. And they shipped it down here on a truck, and my wife didn't know about it.
It was a secret purchase.
It was a secret purchase. And she saw it, she said, I'm never riding that thing, but she has. But my daughter, who was 15 at the time, when it came off the truck, the window was down on one side. And I said, Robin, go in there and close the window. She put her foot in there and it went right through the floorboard. It had no floorboards in it. And their idea of a little bit of rust in Maine was a lot different
is
than
a
mine.
big difference. Yeah,
it was.
Kurt Winters pro tip, if you're going to buy a classic car, shoot for Texas, Arizona, California, but avoid up north unless, like he said, you're going to deal with rust, and rust sometimes is not cheap. His 1962 Bel Air station wagon that's converted to 27 feet.
26 feet.
26 feet, and we got 5 rows of seats. And what'd you say her name was?
Dorothy.
Dorothy, for the doors. We had an awesome time at the Hot Rod Show today. We got some really cool interviews. We got to meet some really cool car enthusiasts. It was a blast. So I recommend if you're sitting around the house, you got cabin fever, let's get out, social distance, wear that mask, whatever you need to do, but go ahead and let's start enjoying cars again, and I will see you in the next video.